Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Josh Snipes, and today we're going to be doing another video kind of how to get better at this game. This is going to be going over the roles, how to play support, and I will talk about flex a little bit, but that's not going to really be the main focus of the video because flex is kind of the in-between between support and the entry fragging video that I did that you can see on the top right up there. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for getting my channel to 100,000 views, and thank you guys for getting me over 2,200 subs. We're going to jump right into the video. Anyways, so support is basically kind of what it sounds like. It's very basic. You're going to be supporting your teammates or supporting your team, supporting the push, whatever it might be. And we're going to go over the operators first that I think are support, and then I'm going to kind of break them down into support, flex, and attacking or entry fragger kind of person. So for the most part, your rushing entry fraggers are going to be your 3 speeds and then some of the 2 speeds that I think are entry fraggers. Now this list is probably a little bit different per person, but for the most part, this is pretty much correct, but I'm sure that someone else might say that something is different. But in a rusher and entry fraggers, it's Ash, Capital, Blitz, Twitch, and IQ, and Jackal. Those are going to be your kind of rusher, entry fragger type people that are going to be getting in the building first. Now, going on to the flex, we kind of have Zofia, Finka, Buck, Sledge, Ying, and Glaz. And you can kind of tell just from that list, their gadgets can be used either as an entry fragging, or you really just need to support the push or support the plant or something like that. So that's why I kind of put them on the flex. And then my supports, you got your Nomad, Thermite, Thatcher, Hibana, Maverick, Dokkaebi, Lion, Blackbeard, Monty, Fuse. I think that these are all supports because they're pretty slow, or that their gadget really needs to be used on getting something open or flank watch or something that is really not entry fragging material. Now, with that being said, just going over flex a little bit more in depth. Flex is going to be playing an in-between role, and a real in-between role means that they're going to be playing whatever their team kind of needs. If someone sees that their team needs more of an entry fragger, someone to clear rooms, they might switch to more of an entry fragger type role. If someone needs to support the team, like let's say Thatcher, you have Thatcher who supports the team at first. Once his Thatcher EMPs are off and you get the wall open, he can go frag out, and his gun is perfect for that. He actually has 2 very good guns for fragging out, and you'll see a lot of people that will actually do that with him. I know that I put Thatcher on my list. I put him as a support, but you kind of get the idea of flex, where they're not always this one character who's dedicated to what they need to do. They can get the wall open, or they can get the floors open, or anything like that, drone their teammates in, and then they're kind of free to do whatever their team needs or whatever they really want to do. So now I'm going to talk about the support, and I have a couple points. These aren't in any real order of like importance or anything like that. It's more just points on things that how to play support and kind of how to be a better support player for your team. Now, the first one that I want to go over is holding flanks. Now, holding flanks is something that anyone can really do, but a lot of times it's going to be support players that are watching your teammates' flanks while your entry fraggers or the fraggers or anyone like that are pushing up. Or say you are watching someone plant and you're watching over them, the support player is going to be the person who's watching the person plant and try to make sure that no one actually attacks this person while they're planting. Holding flanks is actually a really good thing that Nomad does, especially with their gadgets. You can put it on any sort of door or anything like that, so if someone creeps around and tries to just pull off this crazy flank, you're going to be able to get them with the Nomads, and you'll actually hear it. And if you have a Claymore right next to your Nomad, you can actually get a kill with it. So Nomad's been a lot easier to watch flanks with, and I honestly can't wait for her to be in Pro League because we're going to actually see how the pros use her, even though you can probably watch her streams, but I want to see it in a Pro League match how they were going to use her, because I don't know for sure if her gadget's going to be the most useful versus someone else's gadget on their team. Now, the next, probably I'd say the most important role that a support player has is droning your entry fraggers in, or droning your entry whatever in. Droning people in is probably one of the most important roles that a support player has, and usually this will take place anywhere from 30 seconds to about a minute into the actual attack phase. Now, you might also just have your drone set up in a room that your entry fragger is going to go into, so you might not always need to stay on your drone that whole time, But I know with the team that I play with, we definitely do a ton of drone work, with the support players doing a lot of the drone work and the entry fraggers not having to do as much. The entry fraggers will usually set up their drones in a room so that way they can do a quick look at it and they don't actually have to drone themselves at all. You want to try to keep your entry fraggers from having to drone themselves in. Sure, every once in a while it's fine, but you want to really have most of the support players really do that job, because you get a lot more kills that way and you'll get a lot more intel that way that isn't really lost in the whole, hey, there's someone in that room and I'm not anywhere near it kind of thing. Now, the next thing that I have on my list is support the players. And now this is kind of vague and not very specific, but what I mean by that is say if you are playing Thatcher, you're going to be supporting your thermite to try to get this wall open, to try to get rid of the bandits or the kites. In any way, shape, or form, you're going to be supporting your player. Or say if you are playing Lion, you're going to be supporting probably one of your entry fraggers, say a Jackal. Jackal's going to be tracking his person down, and you're going to want to hit your Lion as soon as you see that Jackal ping. Now, I know that Lion is toxic, but this is just an example. So roll with me. I think you guys get the gist of it. You want to support your players in any way, shape, or form. A lot of times there's buddy systems that go together, like Thermite and Thatcher. They go really, really well together. Thatcher and any hard breacher really go together, and Maverick's kind of taking that role with Thermite and Thatcher. And I think that finding those roles is actually a really good idea to do and play around with when you can. And also a big point that I really want to make for you guys is support players should always carry the Defuser. Now, you could probably argue that I'm sure someone somewhere, the entry fragger, has planted the Defuser before the team even noticed. But 9 times out of 10, if your entry fragger dies with the Defuser, you just lost the Defuser and now you have to go get it. Versus the support player, who's probably not inside the map by the time the entry fragger dies. So you'll have a lot better luck that way. So just make sure your support players, or we usually give it to the hard breacher because he's usually the last person who needs to die. So normally you give it to the hard breacher, but it just depends on your 5-stack or your team, or if you're solo queuing. If you're solo queuing, you might not trust your team as much, so I guess you might hold the Defuser a little bit more. But just be really careful with the Defuser and who has it, because if you have an entry fragger that has it, you're going to lose that Defuser, and it's probably going to get lost inside sight or in a really hard spot to go get it. Also, huge point to point out, hard breachers who are considered support, so all of them, the hard breachers need to live until the wall is opened or the whatever is open that needs to be opened. On most sites, I'd say 9 times out of 10 sites, they need a hard breacher open something, whether it's not necessarily directly on site, but definitely needs to be given to give some sort of power to the attacking team into a room that needs to be opened. Do not die at the spawn, because if you die by getting spawn peeked, your teammates are going to hate you. You're going to probably get yelled at, and you just don't want to die as a hard breacher. So be really careful. A lot of times when I'm playing hard breacher, I will literally spawn in and then throw my drone and check the windows instead of trying to just use my scope to check them all. I'm just going to use my drone, because that way I won't die, and it's a lot easier that way. Also, if you guys are playing in a 5-stack, or you guys are playing comp or anything like that, where you're going to have 5 people that are all listening to each other, and normally you're going to have what is known as an IGL, or an in-game leader, kind of someone who's going to kind of give you direction, tell you what to do, tell you what needs to be done, who goes where, all that kind of stuff. Your friend who kind of probably talks a lot too much when you're playing, that kind of person, that person probably needs to be in a support position, because it's way easier to focus on leading the team and giving directions when you're not constantly faced with someone in your face and you're just usually droning or anything like that. You're kind of doing the intel. Now, this does differ from team to team. I know on Evil Geniuses, they do have an IGL that kind of does more of a entry fragging / flex role, and it does differ though from team to team. So some teams do a lot better with that than other teams, but if you're first time IGLing, or if it's your first time kind of leading your friends, I would just stick to a support role and then make the call outs for them and tell them the directions that you need to tell them. That's usually what I do. That's what I do for my team when I'm IGLing. So for the most part, that is kind of the end of my kind of how to play support. It's more so tips and tricks on how to play support. Learn the operators that you want to play that I kind of put in that support category, that flex category. Learn how to play them first, play around with them, see how you like playing them. Not everyone is a support player, and not everyone is an entry fragger. Not everyone is a flex. So kind of figure out what fits your play style best. If you like playing more passive, you'll probably fit more of a support role. If you like playing kind of hyper aggressive and kind of high risk, high reward position, you're definitely going to like playing entry fragger more. Anyways, guys, I'm going to be working on a how to play roamer and how to play anchor. Make sure you guys stay tuned for that and make sure to subscribe so you guys can see that when it comes out. That's going to be it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is going to be Josh Snipes signing off.